Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are immersing ourselves in a really highly provocative translated essay from 2008.
Yeah, it's by an author named Su Feng.
Right. And it's titled Eight Criteria for Individual Freedom. And, our mission here isn't just to summarize a text for you.
No, definitely not.
Our mission is to explore this really radical roadmap laid out in this essay. A roadmap detailing how human beings can supposedly ascend from what the author calls the realm of necessity.
Which is where, basically all of us live right now.
Exactly. Up from that all the way to what he calls the realm of freedom. And to get us into that mindset, I want you listening right now to imagine you are hiking up a massive, incredibly steep mountain.
Okay, picture that.
And every time you reach a new milestone in life, like you sign a lease, you get a promotion, maybe you make a new friend, fall in love, start a family, someone drops a stone into your backpack.
A polished, highly valued stone, because culturally we're basically taught to collect those stones.
Right, yeah.
We view them as the fundamental building blocks of an identity.
Society essentially tells us that a heavy backpack means you are doing it right. You're building a meaningful, substantial life.
Right.
But the reality of physics sets in eventually. That bag gets so incredibly heavy, you can barely take another step.
Yeah, you're just exhausted.
You're overwhelmed by the sheer maintenance of your own existence.
You're weighed down by the exact things that are supposed to give your life purpose and structure.
Yeah.
And well, this is exactly what Swifeng identifies as the realm of necessity.
Right.
It's an existence completely defined by survival, rules, social contracts, and just this constant grinding maintenance.
Which brings us to the ultimate premise of this 2008 text. What if true, absolute freedom means dropping that backpack entirely?
Just letting it go.
Yeah, just unbuckling it, letting it fall into the dirt, and walking away. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
Because to reach this realm of freedom, the author argues you have to entirely strip away the artificial social contracts that bind you. I mean, it challenges basically everything we assume about how humans are supposed to interact.
It really does. And it starts by attacking the very concept of duty itself.
Right.
The text argues that even the slightest, the most microscopic amount of responsibility means freedom is entirely lost.
So it's not a spectrum.
No, not at all. It is completely binary. You are either entirely free of duty or you are a prisoner to it. The author looks at human life not as a web of social obligations, but he argues it should be like flowers growing in a field.
Oh, right. The flower analogy.
Yeah, they bloom, they pollinate. It is all completely natural and voluntary. A flower isn't blooming because it signed a social contract,
Yeah, it doesn't feel a sense of duty to the broader garden.
Exactly.
Now, when we say natural, the text frequently mentions answering only to yourself and to the greatest creator. And I think we need to clarify that immediately for the listener.
Good.
Because based on the surrounding text, Shifeng isn't talking about, like, a traditional religious deity sitting on a cloud, right?
Correct, yeah. Contextually, the greatest creator reads much more like an ultimate universal source, or just the biological flow of life itself.
So like a force of nature.
Yeah, akin to the Tao, or a Spinozan concept of nature as a divine mechanism. You answer to the fundamental laws of biology and physics, but you do not answer to human-made structures.
Oh, wow.
You handle your own food, your clothing, your shelter, your sickness, and eventually even your own death completely naturally and without any complaints.
Which is just a massive inversion of human history. I mean, if you look at thinkers like Thomas Hobbes or Jean-Jacques Rousseau.
Oh, sure, the social contract guys.
Right. The whole narrative of civilization is that we left the state of nature specifically to share the burden of survival. Like we built the garden wall so we didn't have to face sickness or starvation alone.
Yeah, we teamed up.
But the author argues that by sharing the burden, we accidentally built a prison.
Precisely. We traded autonomy for security. And the text demands we basically reverse that trade.
And the text pushes this so far. It gives this incredibly specific, fascinating example of newborn baby nursing.
Yeah, this part is intense.
Instinctively, if you ask anyone on the street, a mother feeding her infant is the ultimate untouchable symbol of duty, right? Of responsibility and sacrifice.
Absolutely.
But Suefeng claims that in the realm of freedom, the mother gives her breast voluntarily, purely for mutual biological pleasure and natural instinct. not out of some heavy societal sense of maternal duty.
What's fascinating here is how the text demands a complete rewiring of human psychology. Like it's advocating for a state of deep cognitive detachment.
Cognitive detachment.
Think about the psychological mechanism required to do what the author is describing. You care about the child's survival as a biological imperative, but you must detach your own ego and your sense of obligation from the outcome.
So you're almost a bystander.
Yes, it is a passive, benevolent observation of life happening through you rather than you taking ownership of the life.
It's like the author is asking us to view human existence as a wild biological ecosystem rather than a rigid legal framework.
That's a great way to put it.
In an ecosystem, a tree drops an apple. A deer eats it. The tree didn't owe the deer an apple, and the deer doesn't owe the tree a thank you note, right? Or a promise to care for the tree when it gets old. It's just natural flow.
That ecosystem analogy is perfect. The author is suggesting that true freedom means completely erasing the concept of burden from our vocabulary.
Completely erasing it.
You exist entirely for yourself in this universal flow. You expect absolutely nothing from the people around you, and you owe them absolutely nothing in return.
But, if we follow that logic, it leads to a very dark, or at least a very cold place.
It does.
If I owe you nothing, and you owe me nothing, what happens to the people we actively, deeply love? And this brings us to a part of the text that I think will seriously shock a lot of people listening.
Oh, for sure.
Because Shufeng explicitly writes, own nothing, own everything. And he isn't just talking about your mortgage or your car.
No, it's way deeper than that.
He argues that the moment you care for something, your freedom is completely gone.
Yes. The text labels relatives, lovers, and friends as literal obstacles to reaching the realm of freedom.
Wow.
Family brings obligations, lovers and friends bring cares, therefore, they are barriers.
So what does this all mean? Because I have to push back here. For the vast majority of people listening to us right now, family and friends are the point of being alive.
Of course.
The joy of life is the shared experience. To look at your spouse or your best friend or your aging parent and categorize them as an obstacle is just a profoundly uncomfortable paradigm shift.
It's jarring, yeah.
It feels like choosing to be a solitary comet hurtling through the freezing darkness of deep space.
Yeah.
Specifically because you refuse to be a planet tethered in a warm, shared solar system.
That tension you're feeling is exactly what the text is designed to provoke. We are so heavily conditioned in the realm of necessity to find our identity through our tethers.
We really are.
We define ourselves by who we are a son to, a partner to, a friend to. But if you strip away that cultural conditioning and look at it strictly through the lens of absolute autonomy, which is what the author's doing, this raises an important question.
Okay.
Can you ever be truly, completely free if your emotional state is dictated by someone else's well-being?
Well, no. I mean, if someone I love is suffering, I am suffering.
Exactly.
My freedom to just walk away and be joyful is completely compromised at that point.
The text is exercising a relentless, almost surgical logic. It's taking the concept of non-attachment, which, we see in various Eastern philosophies like Zen Buddhism,
Non-attachment.
and applying it to its absolute, uncompromising extreme. Any emotional tether is a biological chain. If your heart is tied to someone else, your actions are no longer entirely your own.
You're going to compromise.
You will make compromises. You will take on those survival burdens we just talked about. And the moment you make a compromise for someone else, you have stepped right back into the realm of necessity.
Think about your phone buzzing in your pocket if you're commuting right now. Every single text message from a partner, a boss, a friend, asking for a favor. It's a micro tether.
Yeah, an expectation.
The author is essentially telling you that to be free, you have to mentally throw that phone out the window.
You have to become totally immune to the pull of other people's needs.
But see, that's where I struggle to follow the practical reality of this text. Let's say an individual actually achieves this.
Okay.
They've stripped away all interpersonal obligations. They've severed family ties. They have no close friends. They are completely immune to the needs of others. They are that solitary comet.
Right. They're perfectly autonomous.
What do they actually do with that ultimate freedom? Does a complete lack of personal ties just inevitably devolve into total chaos and hedonism?
That is the immediate assumption, yeah. If you remove societal rules, if there is no family to disappoint and no community to judge you, surely humanity just runs wild.
Right.
But Suifeng provides a very specific and highly complex counterbalance to this boundless action.
Right, because on one hand, the text outlines absolute sexual and personal freedom.
It does.
It explicitly states you have completely unrestricted choices on when and how to make love, limited only by mutual willingness. So, strict consent and common sense manners regarding time and place.
Yeah.
It's a total endorsement of bodily autonomy. You don't answer to a government, a priest, or a spouse.
But on the other hand, the text introduces a universal limit. It dictates that you can do whatever you wish, but you must never overstep what it calls the basic law.
The basic law.
You must always revere the greatest creator, revere life, which is written with a capital L, and revere nature. You must never harm life or nature.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me. It's this massive, almost dizzying paradox.
How so?
You have total, unfiltered liberty to follow your physical desires, but you are simultaneously bound by this immense, universal respect for all living things.
It is a paradox, yeah.
It's like being given an all-access VIP pass to the universe's greatest museum. You can go behind any velvet rope, you can touch any exhibit, you can stay as long as you want.
I love this analogy.
But the one unbreakable, cosmic rule is that you cannot damage the art.
That's spot on. But we really need to define what damaging the art means in this specific context.
Okay?
Notice that this basic law isn't a piece of human legislation. It isn't a law passed by a parliament or enforced by, like, a police force.
Right, it's not a legal code.
It is an internal, spiritual, and natural boundary. Freedom from human obligation does not equate to freedom from universal consequence.
But wait, let's test the logic of that internal boundary for a second.
All right.
If the text demands complete bodily autonomy and insists that family and friends are obstacles, we must detach from what happens when I actually detach. If I walk away from a deeply committed relationship because I realize my partner is an obstacle to my ultimate freedom, I'm going to cause them immense emotional pain. Isn't human emotional pain a part of nature? Haven't I just harmed life? Haven't I violated the basic law by trying to follow the criteria for freedom?
That is the core philosophical friction at the heart of this entire thought experiment. How does the author reconcile emotional damage with revering life?
Right.
The text seems to imply that in the true realm of freedom, emotional pain caused by attachment simply wouldn't exist, because the other person would also be completely detached.
Oh, well.
They wouldn't be hurt by your leaving because they wouldn't view you as their possession or their tether in the first place.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They would just view me as a deer that wandered into their ecosystem for a while and then, wandered out.
Precisely. The harm only exists if both parties are still operating under the illusion of the realm of necessity, where people believe they actually owe things to one another.
Okay, but that brings up a massive logistical problem.
Just one.
Right, well, the biggest one. If we assume a society where everyone is living totally free, bound by no interpersonal obligations, answering to literally no one but themselves, and this universal flow,
Right.
is following their own natural desires, how does society not instantly collapse?
That's the big question.
We know human nature. If you took away the external fences tomorrow, no laws, no managers, no social shame people would absolutely damage the art in the museum.
And Shuefeng recognizes this. The text states explicitly that as long as you are managed, supervised, or governed by others, you have no freedom.
So no managers.
But it provides a crucial caveat. It claims the state of zero management is only possible when individuals reach the highest level of quality and accomplishment and have achieved the highest realm of civilization.
Oh. So he's describing an evolutionary endpoint.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this isn't a political manifesto for tomorrow. You can't just flip a switch and implement this today.
It's not a 5-year plan.
No. This is deeply reminiscent of Marxist theory regarding the ultimate endpoint of a stateless society. Marx argued that the state would eventually wither away once class conflicts were resolved and humanity evolved past the need for a coercive apparatus.
Right, the natural evolution of society.
Swiffing is making a very similar evolutionary argument, but on a spiritual and biological level.
So the author is essentially admitting that our current version of humanity isn't ready for this. The realm of necessity, all our strict laws, our heavy family structures, our obligations, all those stones in our backpack, they're essentially just training wheels.
Exactly. We require the training wheels right now because our internal compasses are still deeply flawed.
We're not evolved enough.
We still act out of ego, greed, malice, or just ignorance. If you remove the external governance today, you get chaos.
Complete chaos.
But the author posits that as humanity slowly advances toward this highest realm of civilization, those negative, ego-driven traits are essentially bred out or spiritually evolved out of us.
We naturally develop that reverence for life. And once that internal compass is perfected, the external laws become completely obsolete. You don't need a supervisor to force you to work efficiently if you fundamentally possess the internal quality to act harmoniously. You don't need a law against theft if the desire to hoard possessions have literally been evolved out of your psychology.
Right. The heavy, rigid structures of society will naturally fall away like dead skin, revealing pure individual freedom underneath. It's a vision of a future humanity that has effectively outgrown the need for control.
This has been such a jarring, just an incredible journey through this document. The 2008 text by Xu Feng really takes a sledgehammer to our deepest, most comfortable assumptions about how we are supposed to live.
It absolutely does.
It forces us to ask what we're actually willing to trade for ultimate autonomy.
It demands that we look closely at our attachments. It asks us to evaluate every single relationship, every career goal, every societal expectation, and ask, is this empowering me, or is this just another stone anchoring me to the realm of necessity?
And that is what I want you, the listener, to do today. Look at your daily routines. Look at the subtle, invisible contracts you sign with the people around you every single day.
Yeah, take an inventory.
Where do you currently sit on this spectrum? Are you deeply entrenched in the realm of necessity, weighed down by 1,000 different obligations, and finding your entire identity in those burdens?
Which is completely normal, by the way.
Right. Or are you actively trying to sever those tethers and move toward this radical realm of freedom?
It is not an easy mirror to look into, because as the text shows, the cost of that transition is incredibly steep.
The cost might be everything you currently hold dear, which leaves us with one final, provocative thought to mull over, building on the uncompromising philosophy we just explored.
We talked about that solitary comment, hurtling through space earlier.
We did. If ultimate individual freedom truly requires the complete and utter abandonment of close personal relationships, of emotional cares, and of deep family ties,
Yeah.
is the final price of total freedom simply absolute, unyielding loneliness?
You drop the heavy backpack, but you walk the rest of the mountain entirely alone.
Exactly. And if absolute loneliness is the unavoidable cost of absolute freedom, is that a price worth paying?